Good morning and welcome to the MRSC webinar on making your jobs easier with MRSC services. I'm Tracy Burrows. I'm the Executive Director of MRSC, and I'm here with Steve Hawley, our Research and Communications Analyst. And we're going to be focusing today on MRSC services, the breadth of them. We'll do a lot of looking at our MRSC website. We're not going to focus on our roster service that much. We'll touch on it briefly, but if you're interested in that, you should go to our mrscrosters.org website after seeing this presentation today. So we're really going to be focusing on our research services in this webinar. I'm Tracy Burrows, as I said. I've been the Executive Director of MRSC for 14 years, and prior to that worked for local governments in Puget Sound, where I used MRSC services pretty regularly. And I'm here with Steve Hawley, our Research and Communications Analyst, who really works very hard to make our website one of the premier websites for local governments in the world, perhaps, but certainly in Washington State. So Steve, you want to say hello?
Sure. Good morning, everyone.
Great. Just a couple of logistics I'm going to go through quickly. Use the Q&A feature if you have questions, either ones that relate to our topics that we're talking about today, which we will answer at the end of the webinar, or if you have a technical issue, you can use the Q&A. The chat is the place where you can download the slides from today's presentation. Otherwise, it will be disabled. So anything that you want to convey to us, use the Q&A. And for audio, if you want to adjust your audio settings, use the audio settings button. You can switch to phone audio and you'll see a list of phone numbers that you can enter the meeting from and just enter the participant or ID. You can also use closed captioning, and that's at the bottom of your screen with the CC. You'll either see subtitles or view a full transcript of the conversation as you like. And if you're having any kind of technical difficulty, please use that phone number on the screen, 206-625-1300 with extension 19, and we will help you out. Our agenda today, we're going to talk a bit about what MRSC is and who we are, what services we provide, and we're going to spend the bulk of the time with Steve, and he's going to give you a great overview of all of the resources that are available on the website, and then we'll take questions. We have a wide range of services at MRSC. We are going to go through each one of these at different levels of depth. As I said, we'll spend most of our time on the resources on our website. Our mission is empowering local governments to better serve their communities. We're here to really serve you and make sure that you have the resources you need to make your community successful. So before we dive into the real meat of the presentation, we'd love to know who our audience is. That may help us maybe shape what we focus on today. Okay, we'll leave this open for about 5 more seconds. Okay, so we have about half of our audience is from cities and towns and another 20% from counties. We've got good representation from special purpose districts, about 18% of our audience and 8% from the state or others. So that's a really good representation of the types of customers that we have. And really pleased to see so many special purpose district folks here with us today. We have been around for 90 years this year, so very proud of that fact. And the hallmark of MRSC and why we've been around so long is that we are a trusted source of timely, objective information. And we know that there are countless sources of information out there, but what distinguishes MRSC is that our information is curated. We do the work to comb through literally thousands of documents and distill out examples that work for you. We're local. We serve Washington State. Everything on our site was developed with that in mind and in the context of Washington State laws and best practices. So you can count on it being applicable to you. We're independent and nonpartisan, so you can trust that our attorneys and policy staff don't take sides on policy issues or disputes. We welcome and we answer your questions, but MRC does not provide legal representation or serve as your legal counsel. Here is MRSC by the numbers. We are really grateful for to have such a wonderful and large audience. And the reason that we're going to be focusing on our website today is that it is by far the place that most people know MRSC by, and you're going to learn things that you've didn't know about what's available on our website, I am sure, today. But we also have other services, and some of them are really customized. So if you need custom help, we're here for you for that as well. So we're going to be talking about our Ask MRSC services, which is the service where you can call or email MRSC and get an answer directly and a custom answer from one of our consultants. So have you used that recently? Maybe you have. Love that. And maybe not. So let's see out there. Okay, we'll close this poll up in 5 seconds. So we've got some super users. That's great. 8% of the folks, and occasionally another third of people use it occasionally, but most of you haven't used MRSC, Ask MRSC, and that may be great. You may be able to self-serve and get all your answers on our website, but I want you to learn more about it today because it is a wonderful kind of premier service, one of the few places where you can talk to experts directly or email them and get answers to your questions. So let's move on and learn a little bit more about the Ask MRSC service. It is free for eligible agencies, and that means all cities and counties. We're funded by the legislature to provide those services. Hundreds of special purpose districts contract with us to give their members access to this service. And then state agencies are also eligible. If you're a special purpose district viewer today and you're not sure whether you're eligible for this, you can go to our website at the Ask MRSC button, which I'll show you in a moment, and you can figure it out. You'll find out through there whether you're eligible or not. But more and more, we get more and more special purpose districts that have joined and are eligible for our service. These are the folks who answer your questions when you submit one, either through a form or you reach out directly to them. We have a wonderful staff of attorneys who are very experienced and well-versed in local government and municipal law. We have finance and policy consultants, so really have beefed up our finance resources because we know that's an area where people need help. Planning, public works and procurement and purchasing and contracting, and just general public policy issues. We really cover the waterfront with our legal staff and with Lisa doing general public policy work. So how do you use it? Well, to submit a question, you go to our website, and at the upper right-hand corner, there's the Ask MRSC button. And then you just go through that, enter some preliminary information, and then you submit your question, and you will get a prompt, accurate answer that you can take to the bank. If we don't know the answer, then we will find the resource that can give you the answer, or we'll find it ourselves. We have got really great research services here. Sometimes you can do no better than, or you really would like to speak to someone in person, and we will happy to take your calls because sometimes there's no substitute for that. Talking to somebody who's been through whatever you've been through, or perhaps you're not even sure what information you need, and you just need to bat some ideas around with somebody and hone in on what would be useful for you. So call either of those numbers, and again, you'll get to speak to a live person who can help you through and who's had a lot of experience. Also, once you get to know our consultants, you can reach out to them directly via email. So lots of different ways that you can submit a question, and you will get a prompt and accurate response to it. So what kinds of questions do we get? Well, these are just a few examples. We get questions about the law, like how are the 5 business days calculated in responding to public records requests? We get questions about what are my peer communities doing about short-term rentals, for example, and we can get you that information. Um, HR information about, can we have a signing bonus to attract new employees? Again, legal questions about, can I plow a private driveway with public resources if the property owner pays for it? So those kinds of questions, some more examples, conflict of interest and ethics questions, we get a lot of those. It's an example there about a fire district commissioner marrying a district employee. Are agencies required to take public comment at special meetings? So we get a lot of questions about open public meetings. It's kind of a tricky area of the law. What are the voter turnouts for a bond measure? So finance and legal questions again, and then another HR question about how to determine whether an employee is exempt, non-exempt, and the standards do change over time. So it's really good to keep up with that. So these are just a few examples, and frankly, there are ones that are a little bit more elementary. You probably could find them on our website, but we get lots of questions that are more complicated and that we can respond to for you. So if you've got a question, do not hesitate to turn to us for an answer. So that's our Ask MRSC. Another area of assistance that we provide is our training, and we are expanding our training offerings. We do twice a month webinars, and we also do our own in-person training as well. Those are usually more in depth, or you can find us at your at conferences that cater to cities, counties, and special purpose districts, and we are often there doing training. So you can find all of our training offerings on our website under the training piece up there that you can see. And if you've missed a live webinar, you can get to our on-demand webinars. And you can view them at your own convenience. And we've recently updated our website so that the viewing and registration is a lot easier. Just talk a little bit more about our training and what's coming up. We've got some in-person trainings on public works fundamentals that we're doing this spring across the state. Another area where we're doing in-person, in-depth training is our finance boot camp. It's the first time we're offering it, and it's been wildly popular. We're doing some this spring and early summer, and then we'll be doing more in the fall. And it really, if you have somebody on staff that needs to really dig into all of the things about finances related to local government, that's a great place to start. Also, small works roster. There are some pretty significant legislative changes in how the small works rosters work. So if you've got somebody who's working on purchasing and procurement and public works contracting, those would be great webinars for them to attend. And we're doing a couple of webinars on our perennial favorites on open public meetings, OPMA, and public records. They're coming up real soon. Our MRSC Insight blog is a great way to keep track of emerging issues and recent happenings. So we do a couple of articles a week, again, on new legislation, on new court decisions that impact local governments, on emerging issues, and the examples you see here are a couple of those. Communications methods are constantly changing, and you've got to keep up with how they, should be managed at the local level. This one's on emojis, which may seem like, oh, interesting, but you're seeing it more and more. So just things to keep in mind. And then, unfortunately, when hate comes to town, there have been many, many examples of recently of especially online racist and anti-Semitic sort of anonymous public comments at meetings and lots of advice about how to keep that from hijacking your public meetings. And so lots of different things. So the best way to keep track of those emerging issues is by subscribing to our e-newsletter, our MRSC Weekly Insights. And it is it takes all of the blogs that we produce, our information about upcoming trainings, relevant news articles from Washington State, so you keep up with what's going on around the state and more. And all of that is packaged in a weekly, one email a week. We don't pepper your inbox with lots of different emails, but one email a week on, and you get all of those insights. And so I highly recommend, if you haven't already, to subscribe to that. And a little bit about MRSC rosters. It's the only statewide directory connecting businesses to public agencies for small works projects, but also consulting opportunities and purchase of goods and services. It has a separate website, as I've mentioned earlier, mrscrosters.org. We've also paired our small works roster with a really highly discounted and very capable e-bidding service. So if you're looking into providing e-bidding as an option for your bidders, take a look at what we have to offer. I think it's very competitive. And our MRSC rosters website, it will become the official statewide public works roster, starting in July 2024. This is in line with several changes in the legislation, state legislation, about how your roster, small works roster, has to operate. So I really do encourage folks to take a look at the webinars that are coming up. They will explain what the new requirements are for rosters, whether you go with MRSC's roster or you host your own roster. So that will be a great resource for you, because they're pretty significant changes in how you'll need to be using your roster in the future. We're also on social media. It's a good way to keep up with, again, our blog posts and just emerging issues from across the state on Facebook and LinkedIn. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Steve Hawley, who's going to talk about our website.
Great. Thank you for that overview, Tracy. And in just a minute here, I'm going to actually take you to our website and kind of show you around a little bit. Before I do, just kind of a quick overview. So the MRSC website has a ton of information that is about operating local governments in Washington state. So we've got a variety of databases. I'll show you a few of them. We've got over 350 what we call topic pages. It's kind of like Wikipedia for local governments that has legal and policy and financial guidance on a huge variety of topics. As Tracy mentioned, we publish 2 new blog posts every week that go out in our weekly newsletter. We also have a number of in-depth publications. These are longer PDF documents that you can print, you can download about core local government topics. We have an extensive sample document library with over 4,300 sample documents in it. You can access our webinars and trainings online, and we've got a variety of other things. So before I get into the website demo, we've got one final polling question for you this morning, just to kind of get an idea. Have you used MRSC's website recently? Yes, often, yes, occasionally, or no? All right, we'll give a few more seconds here. All right, let's close the poll here. Great, so good mix. We've got a little over 20% say you've used it often. We've got about 40% who say you've used it occasionally, and a similar amount who say that you've never used it. So my hope from this demonstration is that all of you, regardless of whether or how much you've used our website, learn something. Even those of you who have used it often will hopefully learn something that you didn't know that we had, not least of which because we just launched some new website improvements literally yesterday. So you'll be some of the first to see it. So I am going to share my screen here. And we are looking at the MRSC homepage here. So this is mrsc.org. And you can see a variety of kind of feature items here. We've got an article about knowing your roles in city and town governments. This blue box here contains the most recent blog post that we've published. So in this case, it happens to be one that I wrote about the website changes that I'm going to be showing you in just a minute. You've got some upcoming trainings here. We have the Ask MRSC archives that provides some examples of questions that we have been asked and the answers to those questions recently. So we publish one of these per week. It also goes out in our e-newsletter. I do want to emphasize that when we do publish these questions, we make sure to edit them and anonymize them beforehand. So we're not identifying specific jurisdictions that ask the question or specific people or any of those sorts of things. You can see this very first one here. Can a city council take action on an item? It's not specifying a specific city, but we take questions that have been asked that we think are kind of going to be of interest to a broader audience, and they usually are. We have some news items. Again, these also go out in our e-newsletter, but these are links to local newspaper articles and other media resources that provide information and coverage about what local governments are doing or dealing with around a particular emphasis on Washington State. But we also have some articles about kind of national issues or trends. So when you're taking a look for information on the MRSC website, there are two general ways to look for it. So you can search, which is using this search bar at the top of every page on the website, or you can browse using this navigation menu here. So I'm going to show you both options. I'll start with the search feature. So the search bar is a great place to look for information if you already know what you're looking for. You've got a specific question in mind. I'm going to do just kind of a very basic example here. So I'll type in Public Records Act. This is one of our most popular topics. I'm sure you can come up with much more interesting queries than that, but you can see here we have 426 results on our website. So that's a lot of information. Now, hopefully you can find what you're looking for with your search term near the top of the search results. But if you're not finding it, or if you just kind of want to, drill a little bit deeper, you can also refine your search results using this box on the right. And with this, with the refine your results option, you can select a particular type of content that you are looking for. So for instance, topic pages, and you can see how many of them there are that match your keyword. We have blog posts, publications, sample documents, Ask MRSC inquiries, that's the Ask MRSC archives that I mentioned. And if you're not sure what any of these mean, there's a question mark icon next to them, and you can hover over them. So you can see our topic pages provide topic overviews, including legal guidance, practice tips, examples, and more. Whereas our blog posts provide short articles on new legislation, court decisions, emerging issues, and best practices. So let's say, for instance, you happen to know that we have a publication on the Public Records Act and you're trying to find that. So you can click on Publications, and with one click, we've narrowed it down from 426 search results down to 4 search results. And you can see here we have a publication on the Public Records Act, another one on records management technology, and a couple other ones that mention the Public Records Act more in passing. You can clear your selections at any time, and that will take you back to your original search term. So you can see we are back here at 426 search results. Let's do another example. Let's say that you're looking for public records policies or procedures. So that would fall under the category of sample documents. So you can see we've got 47 sample documents. So if you click once, that'll take you to those 47 results. And with sample documents specifically, because we have so many of them, we've got over 4,000, you can actually drill down one level further into the specific type of document. So that's things like fee schedules and job descriptions, ordinances and resolutions, policies and procedures, bidding documents. So in this case, let's click on policies and procedures. And now you're seeing just the 25 documents within the policies and procedures section of our sample document library that match the Public Records Act keyword. And for all of our sample documents, you'll see a title of the document. You will also see the name of the jurisdiction that adopted that particular document and the year that it was adopted by the jurisdiction. And you'll usually see a short description that MRSC staff puts together to kind of summarize what information is in this document or any particular details that we think might be noteworthy to help you figure out before you even click on it, is this something that is relevant? Is this what I'm looking for? And then when you click on one of the sample documents, almost all of them are PDF. There are a few other examples that might be a Word document that gets downloaded or something like that. Most of them are PDF documents. So when you click on them, you will see the PDF open up. And in this case, we have the adopting resolution. And if you keep going down, you'll see it's signed here. We try to make sure that any of the documents that are posted to our website are adopted versions and not an early draft that may have been modified later. And then you get into the actual Public Records Act rules here. And one of the great things about our library too is if you look up in the address bar here, you'll see it says mrsc.org. We are still on the MRSC website here. And so what we do with these documents is we actually save a copy and upload it to our website. And we do this both to make it easier to search on our website, as well as to help with the management of the documents and to prevent the links from breaking, just because local governments are changing their websites frequently and documents get moved around, those sorts of things, and the links may end up breaking. But these are actually copies that we have saved to our website. We do get questions about, how do you get these documents? And we get them a variety of ways. We do have some jurisdictions that kind of, send us all of the ordinances and resolutions that they adopt after every council meeting, for instance. And if that's the case, we'll kind of one of our staff members will take a look through that and see if there's something that we feel like would be a useful example to add to our website. We obviously can't add everything. We're not providing a comprehensive list of every ordinance or resolution ever adopted, but trying to find those examples and topics that will have kind of a broad interest and that add to what we already have. We have other times where we will add documents. One of our consultants on staff will come across some interesting documents while they're responding to an inquiry from a customer. Other times we'll be working on writing new website content or blog posts and doing research for that and trying to find specific sorts of documents, and we'll go looking for them on our own. So we get them for a variety of means. I'll go back to the search results here. And again, you can clear your selections at any time and go back. These other document types, topic pages, blog posts, publications, I'll talk a little bit more about those, well, I guess right now as we start getting into if you want to kind of browse our website and go through the different sections. So we'll start with the research tools. So if you click on research tools, you'll see the drop-down menu here. Here's one more opportunity to use the Ask MRSC service. So, and I'll show just so you get an idea of what that looks like if you haven't used it before. So if you click Ask MRSC, we do have information about who is eligible for the MRSC service, for the Ask MRSC service. As Tracy said, that's all cities and counties. State agencies are also eligible. It does cause some confusion with special purpose districts just because that depends on the contract arrangements that we have with particular associations or insurers. But we do have some information here summarizing who is eligible. If you're not sure, you can always reach out and ask us. Hopefully you can find yourself on this list. So the next question is, what type of agency do you work for? So a city, if you select city, you'll be prompted to select the first letter of the city, and then you'll get to choose your city. If you work for a county, similar thing, you select the county. For counties specifically, we are required by state law, if you work for a county and you submit a legal question to us, we're required by state statute to send a copy of our response to the county prosecutor. We try to be upfront about that. We don't want anyone to be surprised by that. That's not our decision. That's just a statutory requirement. So you can see a note about that here. And then if you work for any other entity, a special purpose district, an association, things like that, you can click Other Government Entity in Washington State. And here you search for the agency name. And we've been doing a number of changes over the last year or so to improve this feature. We know that some jurisdictions may have multiple names. You may have a legal name and then a doing business as name. So we try to kind of account for that. But You can search for your particular agency. We just recently welcomed members of the Washington Public Utility Districts Association. So PUDs that are WPUDA members are now eligible. So if you work for, say, Benton PUD, you can type in Benton PUD, click search. And then in this case, there's just one matching agency. So you select Benton PUD, and then you'll be taken to the Ask MRSC form. You can also call, as Tracy mentioned, or you can fill out this form, submit your contact information, select the general category of your question. This just helps us direct your question to the right spot. If you're not entirely sure, that's okay. We actually have a button for that, unsure. We'll make sure that it gets to the right place. And then we also ask you how soon you would like an answer to help kind of prioritize our responses. Sometimes you may have kind of a longer term project and you really don't need anything for a couple of weeks. And there are other times where I need something for my council meeting tonight. So in those cases, we ask that you call us to try to get the fastest response that you can. So that's the Ask MRSC form. We do have the Ask MRSC archives, like I mentioned, that show examples of questions that we've answered recently. We have a city and county website search feature. This is something that not everyone knows about, but it's pretty neat. So the search that I showed before, we were actually searching the MRSC website. This search is a custom Google search that we have curated that actually searches city websites in Washington State and county websites in Washington State. So let's say that you work for a county and you are working on your critical areas ordinance and you want to see what other counties are doing, what they've posted to their websites about their critical areas ordinances. You could search critical areas. And we're still on the MRC website for now, but you can see we've got a result here from King County, Thurston County, Snohomish County, Spokane, Whatcom, Island. And if you click on one of these, so I'll click on Island County here, it's opening in a new tab, and you can see we are actually no longer on the MRC website. We are now on the Island County website, and this is all the information that they have posted to their website about their critical areas ordinance. So I'll close that out, go back to the MRSC website. We also have city and town profiles. This lists all 281 cities and towns in the state of Washington in alphabetical order. You can see the population, the county that the city is located in, the classification of the city, whether it's a code city, first class, second class, town, and then the form of government, either mayor, council, or council manager. And if you click on any of these cities, you'll get more detailed information, including contact information, website, links to the municipal code, things like that. And for a lot of these types of databases, you can also sort them by different categories. So it's in alphabetical order right now by the name of the jurisdiction, but you can also sort by population size. So I'll click on the population category here. And now you're seeing all of the smallest towns in Washington going up to the largest. If I click one more time, now we're seeing all of the largest cities in the state going down to the smallest. You can also sort by county, city classification, and again, form of government. If you want to say, okay, I want to see all of the council manager cities, there you go. So we have a similar tool for counties, our county profiles. I'm not going to show you all of these tools. We don't have the time to do that today, but just kind of letting you know that some of them are there. The local ballot measure database. So if you are planning a ballot measure of your own that you're going to be submitting to voters, you can use this to do research going back over a decade in terms of how other similar ballot measures may have fared. And then we also have our sample document library. So this provides another way of accessing those sample documents that I was mentioning earlier. I am going to show it to you because it does have one other feature that we haven't really looked at yet. So if you click on our sample document library, once again, you have two basic options for finding a document. You can search or you can browse. The search feature it works basically like our website search that I already showed you, except that you're only searching sample documents to begin with. You do have the option of searching all sample documents, or you can choose a particular type of document. So let's say that you're looking for an example of a janitorial services agreement or solicitation. You can type in janitorial service. Again, you could do all sample documents. You could do the bidding documents. I'll just do all sample documents. And now you can see the results that we have in our library. I'll go back here. And then the other one that you can't access through the search is the ability to browse sample documents. And this is especially helpful for, if you want to see all of the documents we have in a particular category, especially useful for things like job descriptions, policies and procedures, bidding documents, where you might have things that have similar titles, but a little bit different, but would be kind of grouped together. So for instance, I'll show you the job descriptions. So I'll click Go for job descriptions. And all of the job descriptions here are listed in alphabetical order. So you can see all of the various accounting related positions listed first. If you keep going, you're getting into the administrative positions. And then once again, you can also sort these by date if you want to see what are the most recent job descriptions that we have in our library. Or you can also search by or sort by jurisdiction if you're looking for documents or job descriptions or whatever from a particular jurisdiction. Other research tools, we have a tool called Find Your Contracting Requirements. If you work in procurement, it just asks you a couple quick and easy questions about the type of project that you are procuring, or the type of agency that you are, if there are different requirements for different agency types. And then it provides a quick overview of your competitive bidding requirements. We also have a tool for those of you involved in utility billing for utility liens and shutoffs that guides you through a series of questions to see whether you have fulfilled the legal requirements for shutting off service or imposing a lien in the event of non-payment. We also have links to city and county codes. This is a listing of all of the city and county codes in the state of Washington that are available online if you want to go directly to those codes and do some of your own research. And then we have links to some of the state websites housing the RCWs, that's the Revised Code of Washington, the state laws, the WACs, which are the administrative rules adopted by state agencies, or court decisions. Next up, we have the Explore Topics section of our website. So this is kind of the Wikipedia type section that I was talking about. And this is the section that we just finished. We did a total top to bottom overhaul. And we've had this section for quite a while now. And before, some of the topic areas that you could look at were very high level things like legal or management or governance. And sometimes they're a little too broad to be that useful. So what we've done is really focus in on kind of the core themes that we're seeing in all of these different areas. So you can see, I'm not going to go over the whole list here, but you can see just the incredible breadth of topics that are addressed on our website. So, things ranging from, code enforcement and climate to finance and homelessness, infrastructure, public records, utilities, all sorts of information. And if you click on one of these topics, so we'll take a look at planning and growth management, you will see a list of all of the topic pages that we have in a particular in that particular topic area, and they're grouped by kind of subcategory or theme. So we've got Growth Management Act, specific plan elements, environmental regulations, subdivisions, zoning, and the list goes on. And if you click on one of these topic pages, so I'll click on vested rights here, you'll get kind of a brief overview of the type of information that's on the page. There is a on this page menu. It's basically a table of contents for the page, shows you what sections are there on the page. You can actually click on it to jump straight to one of those sections. And then there's always a back to top button at the bottom of each page, which takes you right back to the top. We'll go back to planning and growth management. A number of our topic pages are listed under multiple topics because they might come up in multiple different contexts. So to give you just one example here, we have a section under planning and growth management on environmental regulations. We also do have a topic on climate and environment. And if you click on climate and environment, you will see those same pages listed again under environmental laws and regulations. Now, if you're not sure where to look, or you just kind of want to see everything that we've got, we have a new option that we've added to view all of our topic pages by name in alphabetical order. So if you click View All Topic Pages A to Z, you will now see an alphabetical listing. Much like our other databases, you can jump to a particular letter of the alphabet. And you can see all of the different topics we've got. Again, just a huge variety, paid and unpaid holidays, parks and recreation, parliamentary procedure, payroll, petty cash, performance evaluation, personal service contracts, all sorts of stuff. And that's just under one letter of the alphabet. So some examples of pages that we've recently published or redone are relating to electric vehicles, professional architecture and engineering service contracts, surplus property. We have pages for cities, counties, and special purpose districts, local government ballot measures, electronic signatures, just a lot of stuff there. The Stay Informed section of our website, this is where our blog posts live. So you can see our most recent blog post listed over here. You can also view all of our blog posts with the most recent first by clicking View More Blog Posts. You can also sign up for our e-newsletters here. So I would highly recommend, if you're interested in getting any MRSC updates, sign up for our weekly insights at the least. That is where we're sending out all of our blog posts, our announcements, upcoming training opportunities. We also have a separate monthly training email that goes out with all of our training opportunities. If you want to be the first to know about what we've got coming up a month or two down the road, not just a couple weeks out, you can sign up for that. As Tracy mentioned, we also have our trainings. We've got a variety of online and in-person offerings coming up. We also have those on-demand, previously recorded webinars that are available, as well as an e-learning course for city and town elected officials on public records and open public meetings that we do in partnership with the Association of Washington Cities. Publications, these are those longer PDF documents that you can print, you can download on core local government topics. These are some of the most commonly downloaded ones here. So you've got ones on contracting and bidding, annexation, housing, accessory dwelling units, budgeting, revenues, public records, open public meetings. And if you click on one of them, so I'll take a look at the County Commissioner Guide. We just recently updated that. So you can see you're now looking at a PDF document. And if you take a look at any of our recently updated documents within, at this point, probably the last 4 or 5 years, we include a revision history at the beginning that provides a summary of what has changed with the most recent release. There's also a table of contents, again, for the more recently updated publications. It's an interactive table of contents, so you can jump straight to a particular section or page number. You can take a look, the job of a county commissioner. If you click there, you go straight to that page. And then there's also a table of contents button that will take you back to the table of contents. Occasionally there are, you may have certain features that don't work depending on certain browser settings. So if you're having issues with that and want to use it, it might be easier to just download it to, save it to your computer and open it in a PDF viewer there, and you should be able to use it that way. And then, like I said, these are the most commonly downloaded ones. We didn't have room to list all of them in this menu, but if you want to see a list of all 25 or so of our publications, you can click View More Publications, and now you will see a list of all of the publications that we have. And then finally, we have the About section. So if you want to learn more about MRSC as an organization or the services that we provide, as well as who we are as individuals, our staff members, our board members, employment opportunities, those sorts of things, you can do that here. We also do have links to the rosters and electronic bidding sites. Again, those are separate websites. And then we also have the ability to contact us. So if you have something, you notice even something as little as a broken link on a web page, or I had a county commissioner submit something the other day about a public development authority in an adjacent county that wasn't listed on our website, and so we looked into it and said, you're right, we'll get that added. So we really appreciate hearing from our customers. It really helps us stay in touch with you, and it helps make sure that we're providing the best services and information that we can. You can also get in touch with us using the Contact Us button up here at the top of every page on the website. It takes you to the exact same place. So that'll do it for the website demo. I'll turn it back over to Tracy.
Great. Thank you, Steve. So I hope you learned a lot about MRSC services. I also hope that you tell your peers about all that we offer, because word of mouth is really important. It is the #1 way, we know from our customer satisfaction surveys, that people learn about MRSC. So please help us spread the word. And just as part of that, a lot of jurisdictions include an MRSC overview in their onboarding processes for new employees. So also encourage you to do that as well. So now is the time, if you have questions about anything we have covered today or something we may not have covered that you want to know about, please, again, use the Q&A feature to submit your questions. And while you are doing that, I will just go over a reminder of our upcoming trainings on OPMA, on contracting for local services, and on public records. And this one is going to be particularly on personnel and employment records. And you can see more of our training at our training tab on our website. And then can't suggest strongly enough that you sign up for our MRSC e-news if you haven't already. Again, you'll get a weekly email about everything that's going on in local government related to Washington. So with that, well, let's go back, and so we've got we don't have a lot of questions. We've got one here though. That is recently our city attorney advised I couldn't submit a resolution, but an attorney at MRSC told me I could. Who do I believe in this situation? Doesn't really give us enough information. I'm not sure who this is that or what the resolution is related to, but I would suggest that you ask your city. We always, in everything and every answer that we give, we suggest you talk to your municipal attorney, because they are really the final word on things. But you could suggest that the attorney touch base with whichever legal consultant gave you the advice that you got, because oftentimes it was, sometimes it's a different interpretation of the law, but oftentimes people can talk through and agree on a particular response. So that's what I would suggest in this situation. I don't see any other questions. So thank you for your participation in today's webinar. Please give us feedback, because we do this presentation a couple of times a year. So would love for you to evaluate, and we're always improving our presentation. So, and your feedback helps us do that. So again, thank you so much, and I hope that you get a lot more out of our resources than you would have otherwise before the webinar. Thanks a lot. Oh, and thank you, Steve, and thank you to everybody behind the scenes at MRSC who made this this webinar possible, particularly Jacob and Leah on our staff.
Thank you, everyone.